How you going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Knock Loose 4x4. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the new Darche Ridgeback Highrize tent. So we're going to be covering everything. So this is going to be a full and honest review of this tent. So we're going to be talking about the ins and outs of everything. I'm going to show you the walkthrough, the pack up, the setup, and show you how easy this rooftop essentially is. We're going to be talking about the pros, we're going to be talking about the cons, and seeing if this tent is suitable for you guys. So I've been camping out for the last 7 days, and I thought it would be the perfect time to review this awesome tent. So come with me and let's go get started. Hey guys, if you're interested in particular parts about the rooftop tent, make sure you use the chapter marks down below.
Full disclaimer, this review is my own personal experience while out camping, and I'm not sponsored by any means by Darche, or did Darche ask me to make this video about this rooftop tent.
Let's jump straight into the setup and the review. Setting up this rooftop tent is super easy. So I'm going to come up here and pop up these 2 latches. 1, 2. You can see from all the traveling I've been doing, my rooftop is quite dirty, but this rooftop has a rubber seal all the way around. This rubber seal is excellent. I've been on dirt roads for pretty much 90% of my trip, and I've not had one bit of dirt or the dust inside this rooftop tent. So this rubber seal is fantastic. Push it up, let it go, and the struts take over and making it effortlessly to set it up. So we can actually set it up and leave it like this. The good thing with this rooftop tent is you've got options. We can choose to sleep like this. Now, the reason why I would sleep like this is if it was bucketing down with rain or you had some really strong winds, I feel like this shape would be the strongest shape to set it up. So the water would be able to run off a lot easier than having both compartments popped up, and essentially it's a lot easier and faster. So on the side of the road, if you're really tired, you can pop it up like that and jump in and go to bed. But the good thing with this one is we've got another compartment to open. So I'm going to open up this other section here. We've got 1 latch here, okay, 1 latch there. And if we come around this side here, we've got another latch here. So look, you've got to walk around a little bit, but having the option of the double pop-up is essentially the game changer, what separates this rooftop tent to other rooftop tents on the market. Okay. Popping it up is super easy. That's all you need to do. Essentially, I'm ready for bed now. When you've gotten this far off the rooftop tent, it is super easy. Just come up. I personally put this elastic all the way up here, and I also tuck this little grab handle up here as well, because it does get in the way. When it is windy, it can flap up and down, so I normally just wrap it up and down. Now, I've seen other people put this strap all the way down here. I don't know why they would put it down here. This is where the latches are, this is where your ladder is. I feel like you'd be tripping over it, and I don't think it's a good idea to place it inside these little grooves like other people do. I personally leave it up here, and it's completely out of the way. So I'm gonna put the stays up while I'm up here. There's 2 little eyelets just here. Bend it up and pop it in here. So it's super easy. We've got 1. Got another one here. After putting the first 2 stays up, go around either side of the rooftop and put the last 2 stays in. Essentially, it's that easy to set it up. Showing you, look, that's probably taken me about maybe 3-4 minutes just to show you how to set it up. It would be a lot faster if I wasn't showing you, but the best thing is coming to camp and just popping it up and you're done. I've been sleeping with a swag for the past about 2-3 years. Swags are great, but as you're getting older, some bit of luxury up there doesn't hurt, and this is definitely a luxury rooftop tent.
With a unique Z-shaped frame, this rooftop tent has 4 ways to enter inside. You are able to enter from the front and the rear, even both side compartments on this rooftop. I wouldn't like a rooftop that I have to enter in the side, as I go in and out of my canopy and would find it less than ideal. So by having 4 entries, this makes it beyond suitable and diverse for many four-wheel drive setups.
Alright, let's go up top and I'll show you inside. Now, the one thing before you get inside is you got to take your shoes off. There is no shoe holder, no anything to hold your shoes. I'm just fortunate, I've off-centered my rooftop tent so I can put my shoes on my tray. So I'm lucky about that. But for such an expensive product, I feel like Darche should have supplied some shoe bags like some other rooftop tents do. So I'm going to take my shoes off and I'll show you inside. Alright, so coming inside, what an experience. The first thing, we've got a little problem. This mesh is in the way. Now, I don't like how when I have to come into the rooftop tent, this mesh is right here. You've got the fly mesh as well as the wall mesh here. I've got to crawl over it to get inside the tent. Now, the problem with doing that, I feel like over time, I'm going to wear it out. I could potentially rip it, cut it, or almost get caught in it. So therefore, it's more almost a safety feature, safety thing. If I come down and my legs get wrapped around this, I could potentially fall out. Not saying that it would happen, but it could happen. So that is something you need to factorize if you do get this tent. I'm just gonna come in. So the way that I come in, you can see I've got my bedspread here. I normally just tuck it in, so I crawl on top of my doona instead of the fly mesh or the wall. So I'm gonna come in. And we're gonna zip the other awning back. So the good thing with this awning, it does have its own 2 little zips because when it gets really windy, this flies around. As you saw, as trying to get in, it was resting on my head. It wasn't very comfortable. So it does have its own separate zips. Opening it back up, it does feel like a bit of a chore. There is so many layers.
Oh, you both have layers. Oh.
To this to get back out. So if you wake up at 12 o'clock at night, and we've all been there, you really need to go to the toilet. You've got to quickly undo this, undo the fly mesh, and then the awning wall. And then jump out. And yet again, we've got the same issue where you can crawl, you'll have to crawl on top of this. So you'll have to chuck it under. Where I feel like Darche should have improved, or going back to my old rooftop tent, all my walls and all the mesh were coming from the ceiling down. So I could just jump in and jump out and I wouldn't be crawling on it. I feel like that design is a lot better for going in and out, and also it just protects it. So I can just imagine if you ripping one of these would be a bit of a mission just to fix. So I wouldn't even know how you'd fix this. You'd have to send it back to Darche, or if you're handy enough yourself, but I don't think too many people would be. All right, I'm gonna close this up and I'm gonna show you around the tent. All right, so that's what it looks like inside. So Darche has really nailed the inside of how it looks. Now, coming up to the side, we've got a pocket in each single corner. So essentially there's 4 pockets with 2 compartments inside. So this pocket here is holding the battery. So what this battery does is it powers up the lights all the way around, but I'm going to show you that in a little bit later. So it's super easy. I can just tuck things away. If you've got another torch or your phone, you can easily tuck them in to these compartments. So essentially it's allowing you to have more space in your bed, and you're not crawling over your sensitive items and all that. We can store it away, and it's really, really useful. So Darche's nailed and perfected this side. They're held in by 2 eyelets up here, so even if you didn't want these pockets here, you can take them off and do whatever you want with them. But I really like having these pockets in each 4 corners. Now, we've also got some other pockets, what I'm going to show you in a sec. So I'm going to flip around. So we're at the front of the rooftop tent, and as you can see here, we've got a pocket either side. So Darche has really thought about the placement of these pockets. So I like to put my phone and my keys in while I sleep, and it's all tucked away and really easy to get to if I want to get my keys out. And it's right next to essentially where I'm sleeping. So they've really thought about the pockets. They're super spacious. You can fit a fair bit in, and here are the other 2 pockets that I was mentioning about before. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to bring so much stuff up, but if you do, you've got the room to put stuff in. So Darche's really thought about that. All right, so let's talk about this roof mesh. Now, I'm actually really disappointed with this. So when I bought this Darche tent, I saw in the reviews that it had a roof lining, and I'm like, this is fantastic. I can throw my jumper, throw whatever up here, and it's gonna hold my stuff. Now, in theory, it doesn't. Now, the reason why is this mesh is super flexy, and it doesn't have any structural integrity holding it all in place. Now, the reason why, I've got a face towel here, and I've got a white noise machine. This weighs probably about 200, maybe 300 grams. It's not heavy at all. And you can just see how much this mesh is sagging now. Now, I was really hoping to have a Makita fan up here on those hot Australian summer nights, but you can't. Essentially, this whole section of this roof lining is this roof mesh, sorry, is useless. So I'm a bit disappointed. Now, how it's held is there's 3 eyelets either side of the roof, and it's just holding it in place. But it's not the eyelets, it's this mesh. It's just super flexy, and it's not able to hold anything. So the way that I'm gonna try and overcome it is getting some hockey straps and just trying to tighten everything up. But other than that, there's no way to really fix it. So I feel like Darche does need to improve this in the future, because it's almost useless. It's a bit of a gimmick. I see what they're trying to achieve, but they just haven't achieved it. And it is a little bit disappointing, especially with the high price tag that you're paying for the rooftop. Everything should be almost spot on for this high price. So I see what they tried to do, but they just didn't execute it very well. So moving on to the windows, there's 6 windows all the way around the rooftop tent. Now, I love the placement that Darche has put these windows. So essentially, I've woken up every single morning and I've cracked the windows down, and I'm able to see outside and just enjoy and admire the views as I'm waking up. Now, every single window has the midget mesh in, so no bugs are coming through, but also allows some beautiful breeze to come through for those really hot Australian summer nights, so you can cool down really well. We've actually experienced a fair bit of wind on this trip, and just allowing all the wind to pass through this rooftop tent really helps with the structure and stops it from shaking around. So the windows essentially is like a big breeze tunnel, so it's really some nice airflow coming inside the rooftop tent. So we're going to close some up. I'm going to show you an example of how these windows work. So I've just put these on the eyelets. So this is one window. So to cover it up, there's some zips on either side. So we've got a side zip and we've got a top zip up here. And that's how simple it is. We've also got this window here. Now this is actually still technically a door, but because I don't enter from the side, I'm able to use it as a window. So this is what it's like when it's fully shut. Now, having it fully shut like this isn't personally a good idea when you're sleeping. Now, when you go camping and you've had a swag or even a tent and all that, you will notice that condensation, no matter what tent or what swag you have, condensation will arise. And you do need to have that constant airflow coming in, just so the rooftop can breathe. So when I'm sleeping and it's really cold at night, I have this cracked open and the air is able to flick up and still enter the chamber of the rooftop tent. Now, this is super private, no one can see in. I've also been outside and I can't see anyone inside this rooftop tent. So having that peace of mind that no one can see in, you know, especially when you're getting changed and all that, is super, it's just a good feature to have. So I'm really happy with that. Being on this trip, we've experienced a fair bit of rain and the rooftop tent has held really, really well. The only issue is this massive window here, it does allow a lot of the rain to come through because there is no awning covering this side. Unlike the front, there's an awning covering the front and the rain actually hits that and deflects off. But coming up to these side windows as well as this rear window, there's no awning. So essentially the rain actually does travel in sideways. We've had to zip all this up and essentially it's stopping any airflow to come through. The way that we've overcome it is this window here is the only window like we can essentially have open when it's raining. But the thing is, we can't have it fully cracked all the way open because the awning on the side is angled in such a way it doesn't stop any of the rain coming through. So I've noticed that half of this this window is soaking wet. So when we're sleeping, we have to have it cracked like that. It's not too much of an issue, but if it was a really hot night and it was pouring down rain, you would kind of be in a bit of a strife because you'd only have this window here and the window opposite it semi-half cracked, so it doesn't allow much breeze to come through. Going back to the condensation side, I found that if you crack your window like this, sometimes water droplets might come dripping down and it might wake you up or make you doing a wet. It's not a nice feeling. So I found the way to overcome that is by flicking this window on the side like this, and the water actually, and it works really well, the water actually drips from inside to out, so it helps. So being such a tall fella, I'm 184 centimeters tall, and I actually did struggle to fit in some of those clamshells, the V shell type style rooftop tent. So this is literally one of the main reasons why I got the Darche Ridgeback Highrize rooftop tent, because it is actually a fair bit longer than some of those clam top shells. So I'm gonna put my head hard against the wall, and you can see, if you just pan down, how much more room I've got from my feet, and I'm not anywhere near hitting the door. I can starfish, I can spread out, there's heaps of room to play around. So it's for me, and being quite a tall guy, this is so spacious for me. So if you're a little bit shorter than me, you're gonna have no problem. Anyone a bit taller than me, you can still fit, as I've got easily around about a foot left to play with. So if you are quite a tall fella, this is probably a really good rooftop that you should consider. So I could imagine what the next size model up from this would be. It would be really, really spacious. So this is the 1250 model, but the next model up, it's an extra 20 centimeters longer, and I could see yourself spreading around like crazy.
If you're interested in the 1550, you'll expect to pay just under $6,000. Bearing in mind that the 1550 rooftop weighs 109 kilos. You'll need to check your four-wheel drive / car if the roof can structurally hold this weight on your car roof before purchasing.
where the version I have, the 1250, is just under $5,000 and weighs 99 kilos.
Most general cars can't carry any more than 100 kilos on its roof, with a few exceptions like the 200 series Land Cruiser that can hold a maximum of 200 kilos. My Hilux roof limit is 75 kilos, so even with my own Ridgeback HighRize 1250, my Hilux can't safely hold this unit on its dual cab roof. Also, you need to consider the roof racks in the overall car roof load rating limit, as well as your own personal weight, plus anyone else who might be up there. Installing the rooftop on my TC Box's canopy was the only way around this heavy issue. My canopy roof can hold a maximum of 300 kilos, making it the most suitable and safest way to carry this rooftop tent.
Keep an eye out for a separate in-depth install video where I show you exactly how I installed my rooftop on my canopy.
So let's talk about the main thing why we buy these rooftop tents. The sleeping, the bed. Okay, so I'm gonna fold all my bedding away. I've got my pillows here. I've got a mattress, just a little cover on, but this is what the mattress looks like. So essentially it's the same velvet as the roof. So it's super soft and anti-condensation. Now we do have a anti-condensation mat underneath, just to stop any water or anything to puddle up. It essentially just allows everything to breathe when you sleep. And pack it up, everything. So the mattress is a 55mm memory foam mattress. Now, how do I find it? So back at home, I've got quite a hard mattress, so I'm quite used to sleeping on quite a hard mattress. I would say this mattress is quite firm for many people. It's definitely not a soft mattress. So if you compare it to a swag mattress, this mattress here is probably 3 times harder than a swag mattress. I like it, some people might not like it, so if you like those really soft beds and all that, you might need to, put something on top just to soften it up. Being on this trip for about a week or so now, my back is slowly hurting, so I wouldn't want to travel around Australia with this mattress just alone. Having a good night's sleep is quintessential in your journeys when you're traveling around, and I wouldn't like to travel around Australia on just this mattress. I feel like I'd need to have some sort of topper or just something just to make it less harsh on your back, because it is quite a firm mattress. Now, I have heard that from other reviews and other people from using this rooftop tent, that if you're a woman and having wider hips, it is quite uncomfortable on the hips. So I have heard that you have to rotate a lot more, and just resting on the hips is quite uncomfortable. So I can't speak about myself. I find it completely fine resting on the hips, but if you do have wider hips, I feel like it would be quite uncomfortable. But I'm not saying it's a bad mattress, it's just not the perfect mattress. It's a bit hard for rooftop tent companies to make such a comfy mattress, because you need to be compact and it needs to be able to shut down, and essentially it just needs to work. And this mattress does work, but it's just not the perfect mattress. So if you're traveling around Australia, you probably need a topper, but if you're just doing those weekend getaways, it's just completely fine in my opinion. So Darche has incorporated some awesome LED lights inside this rooftop tent. So coming up to it, you've got a USB outlet here with the on and off switch, and you've got 2 LED strips either side connected on with some Velcro. So to turn it on, I'm using a Makita power bank, but you can use any phone bank charger or any USB charger that can charge these. Plug it in and then turn it on. Now, I'm not someone who's really excited about a switch, but this switch is actually really fun to turn it on. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, when you went to your nan's house or your pop's place and all that, and they had this old little lamp that you just touch and it just turns on. Essentially, it's just a really touch-sensitive switch. You just flick it on and it turns on straight away. What's a really handy feature. You're not fiddling around trying to press the button really hard to turn on. It's literally just a delicate touch and it turns on. So we've got the white mode here. Now this white mode is super bright, and at night time it literally shines this whole area and you've got no trouble at seeing. But also, if you press it again, we've got a secondary option. We've got the orange mode. So this mode is really good to deter any insects and those little nasties that you don't want inside your rooftop tent when you're trying to climb in late at night. So having these two style of lights is really, really handy. Now, I did notice that when you do turn it on, so we'll go back to the white mode, when you turn it on, it slowly gets brighter. So I really, really like this feature. So when you turn it on late at night, it's not like bam, and the light is right in your face. It gets like literally about 2 seconds to warm up, and then it gets quite bright. So that's a good little feature to have. All the cables, this is how it all comes, is all tucked away. Darche's include this nice little tuck away side, so none of the cords get tangled up. And even if you wanted to, because it's on Velcro, you could actually take off one of these lights. If you wanted to, say it was too bright for you, you could have one side working and the other side not. So I'm running a 3 amp Makita battery here, charging my unit. Now, I was playing board games up here the other night for about 2-3 hours, and I noticed that that I used half the amount of battery on the 3 amp. So it doesn't draw too much power, but it's not the most energy saving lights out there. But having these options is fantastic. So props on Darche. And Darche has really thought about the placement pockets. So going back to the pockets, we can place my Makita charger back up here, so it's completely out of the way. So I've really thought about from the light side as well as the pocket side. So super handy, super convenient, and it's just out of the way. So it just works. All right, so you can only hear my voice. It's 10:30 at night, and I want to quickly show you how bright these lights actually are. So I'm going to turn it on. There I am. So that is how bright these LED lights are. So it was a little bit hard to explain during the daylight, and I couldn't really show you either. So I'm about to go to bed, so I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to show you how bright they are. So this is the bright white light. It's extremely bright, as you can see. You can see my face really clearly. You can see everything in the rooftop tent really clearly. So that's a really good side. I'm going to show you the orange light as well. That is the orange light. So I don't know if you can see it on camera. It slowly gets orange and gets lighter and lighter. That's what I was trying to explain over the video. But essentially, that is how bright these lights get. So I'm inside the rooftop tent, and I'm going to show you how I personally pack up all my bedding inside. So there is a little knack to it. You can't just fold it down because you do need to allow a bit of space for these flaps and all that to come in. So this is how I pack up my bedding inside. So firstly, I've taken out the pillows. As mentioned before, I've got some big fluffy pillows, so they can't close up inside. But if you do have slimline pillows, you can easily fit them inside. So I've got 2 sleeping bags up here, as well as a little soft little blanket up here, and that can all be packed up inside. So I've got to fold the sleeping bags just more so in the middle. So this allows the tent fabric to fold in, and I'll show you what I mean when I hop out. So just folding it all inside. Now, having the windows, I find that when you you zip up all the windows and you pack it up, it causes essentially like a massive air bubble inside. So the windows do need to be cracked. I'm just going to undo this window, take it out from the eyelet, and just fold it up like that. Alright, so these windows are completely fine to be packed up now. Making sure that all the doonas are away from the edging. And now we're going to turn off the light, take out everything inside, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to pack it up. So inside's all done, let's jump outside. Alright, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to pack up the high-rise rooftop tent. I'm going to put a timer on and show you the time to pack it up. I'm not going to be rushing or anything. I'm going to walk through everything step by step on how to pack it up and show you how easy it is. So Brett, let's start the timer. And the timer starts now. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to take out the stays. So I found out while doing some research on this video, these are cool stays. So we're going to just chuck them on the ground. So there's 4 around each of these. There's 4 around each of the rooftop tents. So there's 2 at the front and 1 on either side. Okay, I'm tall enough to reach this, but if you're not too tall, you might have trouble reaching it. So you might need a little step ladder for that. So we're gonna come around this side and take away this stay. Okay, so that's all 4 of them all packed up. Up top here, there's a elastic band to hold everything in place, as well as a little handle to pull this down if you can't reach, but I can reach with the rooftop tent. So luckily I've got enough space, I can put my feet over my tray, but we've got to make sure that all this gets tucked in. So we've got to push it down. See why we can leave the windows open so all the air can escape. Tuck it all in. Okay. Tuck it all in and make sure we do the other side. Now the biggest issue I find with packing these up, you've got little eyelets on the side here. These normally poke out, so they're a little bit fiddly. I wish Darche didn't put little eyelets there because I've never used them in the whole trip. But we're gonna do this other side now on this side. So you can see on this side here, if you could just come around, that this part here is hanging out. So we've got to re-lift it back up and just chuck it underneath. So that is all good. So that's all good. You can just see I've just missed a little spot here. And that is how easy it is. So that's all done. We're gonna lock these little latches up here. So we've got 2 latches either side and they just pop down. Sometimes if the rooftop tent isn't aligned, it can actually just swivel off its hinges. Not the hinges, but it can just swivel off a little bit. You've just got to pick it up and move it to the side. So I'm gonna quickly just do this spot here as well. Okay, so that's 1 hinge and that's 2 hinge done. So now it's time to pop down the front little section. So walking back down the ladder. I'm gonna wait until I get my side steps and it would be a lot easier, but I don't have them on at the moment. So just popping up the door and lifting up and pulling this section down. These struts are dramatically harder to pull down. I think because they've used the same type of struts either side, and this top of the roof is a lot lighter than this frame here. So we're gonna tuck this down, push all the air out. Now what I like to do is just come around the other side and making sure we've packed everything away. So we're gonna come around this side. We're gonna open up the door, jump back up and put everything aside. So bit of a push down, 1 latch from there at the front. You can see that I've got everything inside. We're going to come back around and just do this latch up here. All right, let's go check the timer and see how well we've done. So in showing you and not even rushing around, that's taken 3 minutes and 50 seconds to pack up this. Now, if I wasn't showing you guys, I could do it a lot faster. So you can just see it's really, really easy to pack up, set up and pack up this whole rooftop tent. So it's a complete breeze. So now I'm gonna do a real-time challenge and show you how fast I can pack up my rooftop tent. So
I'm not going to let you guys watch me pack up my rooftop tent again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward it and I'm going to show you the end result.
And we're gonna stop the clock right now. I packed up the whole rooftop tent in 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So you can just see how fast and how easy it is to pack it up. Going to camp spots constantly is a real breeze with this rooftop tent. Darche has provided us a ladder. So the ladder is all protected. So I'm gonna show you this ladder here. So the good thing with this ladder is you can actually pack it up inside the rooftop tent so it's out of the way. Now I don't because I've got my sleeping bags all inside. So I keep this in my canopy, but you can leave this inside your rooftop tent if you did want to. So with the ladder, it's got a Velcro strap to hold it all in place, and it is just super easy. Down here, you've got a couple of little clips that you clip it onto, clip it on, and then pull it down. So it is a really, really nice telescopical ladder. Now, do I like this ladder? Personally, going in and out and using this rooftop tent for about 6-7 days now, the ladder is one of the worst things about this rooftop tent. So I'm going to tell you what. Walking up and down this ladder, it is a nightmare. It is walking on like Lego. These ridges are really, really sharp. Darche hasn't angled the ladder properly, so when you walk, you can come in and zoom in on my foot. I'm going to jump up here. You can see that the angle that you would be on. So my heel is literally resting on this tiny little corner here. Now, with my boots on, it's completely fine. But when you take your boots off, I've got a bit of grass on my toes here. You can see that it's just digging into my heel because you're not always like that. You're more so leaning back a little bit, trying to get into your rooftop tent. So I find that this actually really hurts, especially late at night when you can't see and all that. It just digs into your feet. So I had a rooftop tent by Roof System designed by Darche, and their ladder was angled perfectly. So I've never had an issue with ladders until this one here. Come down here, you can see that I've only been using this ladder for about 6-7 days now, and it's already scuffing the paintwork off the ladder. So what I'm thinking is little bits of sand and debris is getting caught in the telescopical part, and when it's sliding up and down, it's just rubbing against the paint and chipping it off. Me personally, look, it's cosmetic wear, it is what it is, but other people, you know, like everything tip-top shape. So I just wanted to show you and let you guys know that after a couple of uses, your ladder is going to be really scuffed. So
all in all, Darche Ridgeback Highrize 1250 is a phenomenal tent and perfect for those weekend getaways or full touring trips. It does have some minor drawbacks, but I couldn't be more personally happier with this rooftop. Full disclaimer, this review is my own personal experience while out camping, and I'm not sponsored by any means by Darche, or did Darche ask me to make this video about this rooftop tent. I wanted to share my honest opinion and give you my genuine feedback to you guys so you can make your own informed decision whether this tent is suitable for you. I would honestly recommend this rooftop to any of my friends and family, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone who does seriously hard four-wheel driving, as this rooftop just feels too top heavy for that. For me, I'm excited for more trips to come, and I'll keep you guys updated as I travel more with this rooftop tent. Keep an eye on how I install the rooftop on my Hilux in our next Knock Loose 4x4 video. Until then guys, I hope to see you on the tracks real soon.